So I'm making this exhaust tip configuration, and not this is anything super elaborate or anything, but I had a few people ask like what this red thing was, or a couple of people came by like in the shop. So I figured I'd just show you all. So what I'm doing here is this is for David's Trackhawk, and he had a specific set of mufflers that he wanted to use on that he liked the sound of, that they're not actually mufflers for a Trackhawk, and he specifically wanted these exact tips, this color, this size, everything. So had to kind of make this work. So the exit on the mufflers does not line up with the rear valance on a Trackhawk, so kind of had to come up with something to make them work. It previously was at an exhaust shop, and they kind of attempted to put them on, and it wasn't like the most ideal installation. So I kind of had to work with what they had already done. So what I came up with is, from what they had previously done, there's really no adjustment at the tip. So if, on most cars, like if say like a Lamborghini or something, the exhaust tip is like made into the rear valance or the bumper. So what you see is attached to the bumper, and then the exhaust is behind it. So the tip that's visual is easy to stay perfectly aligned. On a car like say like a Hellcat or something, the tip is in no way, shape, or form attached to the rear valance or the bumper, obviously, but where the tip attaches to the exhaust, it's got like a ball seat, so it's adjustable to some degree. You kind of move it around and adjust it. So that's ideal. This is not ideal. So basically I have to make this where it's going to fit perfectly with no adjustment. So this red thing is just something that I made and 3D printed. And it was just for the purpose of aligning these tips. So I wanted them to be perfectly centered rotationally, and then the exact offset, the staggered depth to match the rear valance. So I needed some way to kind of jig these and hold these together exactly where I wanted them. They're stainless steel, so there's not going to be a magnet. I could have tried to weld a tab, but sometimes it's hard to get that exactly perfect. And David wants them exact, so this is the best thing that I came up with. So what I did here is I made this to put the two tips in and get them perfectly lined up. I've got alignment marks on here. Even at that, I could still wiggle this a little bit side to side. So I just took some pieces of metal and shimmed them apart so they're perfectly parallel. And then when it got down real close, I just cut up like a manila folder and just started sliding little pieces of like paper in there to shim it where they're exactly running true. So I made the first pipe here, you can see, and this actually goes into the muffler itself. So then I needed to connect these two. So what I did is I just made kind of like a notch or something. This was a pain in the ass to get this to fit up, because it's not only going around a pipe, it's going around a pipe in the middle of a bend. So the other side was like that also. I'm just going to kind of show you what this looks like. Alright, so I'm in no way, shape, or form master fabricator, so this is the best that I came up with. So what I got is I spent some time making this to fit. Yes, it is very time consuming to get something to fit up like this with absolutely no air gaps, but during the welding process, this really makes a huge difference in like how well the weld looks. So what I'll do is I'll set this up, and then I'm going to tack this bottom piece onto this pipe, and then I'll go ahead and weld it. I find it easier to use this as almost a guide. So I'll cut through this pipe, probably using this hole saw, which is very close to the same size. So I'll have something like a base, and this will already be welded through, so I'll drill through into this pipe. And then it'll be easy for me to access to clean up the inside and grind it perfectly smooth. So not only the outside will look good, the inside will look good. And then once that's done, you know, it's obviously self-explanatory. Then I can weld this intermediate piece in, and that's how I'll make this. And then I can take the red piece off, and then it'll be ready to transfer over to the car. So that's it. In case you're wondering what the red thing was for, or whatever, this is what I'm doing. So I stopped here just so I could show you all while it's apart like this. It's a little bit easier for me to explain than when it's together. So I'll go ahead and start welding it, and I'll cut a hole through it, and I'll have them put a few more shots so you kind of see it like in process. clean all that out. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you liked it. If you have any suggestions, obviously, like I always say, put it in the comments. It's a little bit different format than usual. So if you like the channel, hit the like, hit the notification bell, you know the routine. See you guys next time.